Be gay, do crime.
Cash my check, so fuck my job. Life's too short, I'll have the ball. I can't say I'm way too hard. Why you standing in the lane so
Welcome back, it's your girl Yummy.com. Thank you for joining me, internet friends. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and once again vibing. We are here with another Tipsy movie review. And as usual, I am a blatant and real
I heard it's not a movie, it's a TV show once again, because I watch a lot of TV shows.
liar. I can't help it. With that being said, it is Valentine's Day currently when I'm recording. And I know I say Valentine's instead of Valentine's. I can't help it. I've tried to fix it for years and this is where your girl is. If you can't tell by my slightly dark but still Valentine's Day makeup or my heartbreak earrings, we are talking about a love story that involves murder.
Dead people that we just murdered.
Not murder.
Blood orphans.
No blood orphans.
Not blood orphans.
I don't know what that is.
We're talking about heart killers. I was gonna call that shit heart shakers. It's heart killers. The reason why we're talking about it is a long time ago I talked about Thai BL on this channel, and I think it's under the impression that I don't watch it anymore because I don't talk about it as much, but I in fact do. I still watch all the time. It is a great and fun moment for me. It is some of the funnest cinematography. Trying to spot the most ridiculous t-shirts you've ever seen in a show, trying to ignore when people randomly break out into songs, love that. It's a game within itself. I love all BLs. Thais have a special one in my heart because they were the first one I saw. That being said, I've always kept up. I love all the couples. GMMTV kind of owns the monopoly on it a little bit, but like there's so many great ones and I love a good Taiwanese BL. Oh my god, they have the best ones. If you ever want to see a really good one, See Your Love, I believe. It just finished recently. So good, lovely, highly recommend it. Not what we're here to talk about today though. We're talking about Heart Killers. Heart Killers is unique in that reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I had so many thoughts and feelings when watching it, and I feel like a lot of people didn't like it, and I think that they're wrong. I don't think that it is as simple as you make it seem. I think a lot of people were hung up on the fact that their sex scenes were like a little uncomfortable at some point.
Don't yuck other people's yums.
Yeah. Sure, but I will yuck one of y'all. Because it sounds like it. That's not my ministry.
But I think that was the point. I think that was the purpose. There was like a BDS scene, which to be fair, I feel like that plot line went absolutely fucking nowhere because I don't think they're really into it, but it was, you know, a plot line.
Bro, relinquish reality. These are the plot lines.
And I think that there was like a weird tension in the scene that was supposed to be there because one of them is clearly uncomfortable but is doing this for his own survival that people were not picking up on, and they just wanted like the chemistry but without understanding why there was not chemistry in that specific scene. All that's to be said, I'm gonna tell you about the show before we get into why I think all of you are wrong.
I'm not gonna forget about it, but we're gonna forgive because I cannot keep on living with all this rage inside of me.
The story is of two brothers who are not biologically related to each other. That doesn't matter. They're basically biologically related to each other.
เป็นพี่น้องกันน่ะมีอะไรก็ต้องแชร์กันดีวะ
Siblings do not come with just biology, they come with love and time. They are killers. They're hitmen for a lady named Lily, who they call Mother, and they just be murdering people who they think are bad because Lily says that they're bad and she raised them since they were young because their parents were murdered. That comes back to haunt us later, but their parents were murdered, so they become serial killers. Serial killers is a harsh word. Hired gunmen. They murder someone within the first like 5 minutes of the show. That's how it opened. Brah, 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 brah. They don't slow down. It's like, here's the killers, here are their love interests, and we go, literally, and we go. That being said, it is basically the story of how these hitmen get out of becoming hitmen and fall in love. There is some snakery that goes on. It's Taming of a Shrew. It's Taming of a Shrew, but like Thai BL. It is the two brothers. One of them is Fadel, and the other one has a name in which I can't remember. I just keep wanting to call him Boston, and that's not who he is, because Boston is Neo from Only Friends. Bison! His name is Bison, that's why I kept saying Boston. There's two brothers, Fadel and Bison. They're both murderers. Fadel is the strict one, the older brother. He follows the rules, he loves the rules. He's like, I think I like this little life.
เงียบคดีจบก็20 ปีแล้วมึงป่านั้นน่ะ
เราก็แก่แล้วไหมแก่แล้วไงกูอยากอยู่กับมึงปะ
Bison wants to get out of the game. He wants to fuck around and find out. He's tired of it.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's
too damn bad.
ไม่ใช่บังคับคนอื่นเขากูจะน่ารักแต่กูก็น่ากลัวเฮ้ยทำอะไรกันวะ
But he always will ride or die with his brother Fadel. The show's like jumping off point is basically like Bison meets this guy named Kant in a bowling alley. Very cute, very lovely, meet cute. They fornicate and they promise to never see each other again. Kant, this guy, is a tattoo artist who has a history of stealing cars. Thus, the police seem to freely call him back in to do their dirty work, which I find insane, which granted, as a person who also is aware of the corrupt systems, not just in America, but like in Nigeria, like just corrupt governments and officials, I get it, I completely get it, I understand how this could happen to you. I, however, would have just started burning shit down if you were gonna keep calling me in every time you had some shit you needed me to do because you didn't put me in jail the fucking one time. Pisses me off. Whatever, I digress. They find out that Kant had slept with Bison. They're looking for Bison, so they were like, hey, you already slept with them. You already have this connection. How about you continue it and keep giving us information so we can find out how to arrest them, who's in charge, Lily, aka Mother, and how we can bring them down. He's like, as long as you don't take me away from my brother, babe, I'll do whatever you say. Okay? Okay. He finds him later, flirting with him. Ooh, Fadel, ever the older brother, is like, we're killers. You can't be flirting and falling in love. We ain't got time for that shit. Especially because Fadel had fallen in love and his lover had left him, quote unquote. It was messy, whatever. And then Bison and Kant are like, how about we find someone who's psychotic enough to like my brother, Taming of the Shrew. This is where Taming of the Shrew comes in. And like to date my brother, basically. They find Stiles. Stiles is best friends with Kant.
กูอะพร้อมอยู่แล้วเว้ยเสียดายนะไม่ได้เห็นความหวานของมึงตั้งแต่แรกอะเสียเวลาโคตรกับกูไปไหนวะ
We meet Stiles off the bat, and in only something that happens in a TV show, Stiles has already met and ran into Fadel. This is all episode like 10 minutes in. I'm not gonna give you a play-by-play recap for the show. I feel like you really should go watch it. It's a good time. For me at least, it was a good time. If you're like a person who's averse to like sexy time on TV, which is fair, like I'm not 100% comfortable with it all the time either, which is crazy because again, watch BL, crazy. But there's a cut version for you. I love that for you. In a spoiler-ish but spoily-free review, they fall in love. Everything becomes unveiled that both Kant and technically Stiles was an informant. Stiles I feel bad for because that bitch didn't mean to do this. He just wanted a nice car and some dick, and that's not his fault, okay? That's what, honestly, every God-given American should have.
มึงได้รถกูด้วยนะเว้ย
ตอนนี้เรื่องรถมันกลายเป็นเรื่องรองไปเลยมึง ตอนเนี้ยอยากรู้เรื่องแม่งมากกว่า
And even though he's a Thai person, a God-given Thai person should have it too. Accidentally really fall in love with these guys, with these serial killers, because that's what they are technically. Yes, they're hitmen, but they've killed multiple people at separate occasions, which technically also makes them serial killers. And they fall in love. The hitmen find out they're on this cute journey to kill their significant others. That really hurts my heart.
มึงตุกติกเมื่อไหร่นะกูยิงหัวมึงแน่
ครับคุณนักฆ่ากลัวแล้วไม่ต้องขู่กูหรอกเดี๋ยวกูฆ่ามันเองกูฆ่าใครบนเกาะเนี่ยไม่มีใครรู้หรอกเอาดิเอาเลยเอาเลยงั้นฆ่าทรายไปด้วยเลยไหมมันก็หลอกมึงเหมือนกันนี่ฆ่าแทนกูทีกูไม่กล้าฆ่ามันหรอก
I have several points in this that I just wanted to bring up to you here, the audience. One, never trust a white man. That cop. The second, they made an agreement with him. He reneged and I hated it and I fucking hate that man. And he didn't get nearly enough punishment at all because he sucked. Fuck him. Now on top of that, there's two couples in this, as we've discussed. There's Stiles and Fadel, my personal favorite and darlings. there's Kant and Bison. Beautiful, lovely, broken, very broken. I went into this fully on Kant and Bison's, like, I was like, these are gonna be my favorite because the people who play Kant and Bison are coupled, just as the couple who plays Stiles and Fadel. The difference with the couple that plays Kant and Bison is that they have had a history of playing serious characters. So I knew that they were going to eat this role up. I believe their first journey together was in Eclipse, which is like a monumentally good GMM like show. It is a school drama, but it's like dark and like deep and like it has heady stuff, heady for a high school drama, and it's like lovely. Then they went on to do something else. I can't remember what the other thing was. Plot twist, they were the life-ruining antagonist in Moonlight Chicken that ended up getting together in the end, kind of, sort of.
ครบวันนี้แถมฟรีบัตรเครดิตปะครบพ่อไงเล้งแหมมึงเขินกูให้เขามาเซ็นเอกสารเฉยๆเขินแล้วปากหมาเหมือนเดิมนะมึงนะ
But they did do Only Friends, in which they ate that shit down. I felt bad for Forcebook, which is another couple. They played the main couple because all anyone could talk about was Ray and Sand in that coupling because they were just an emotional roller coaster and they acted it immaculately. You believed every moment and emotion that they ever acted. I would go as far to say in that moment watching Only Friends, I thought they were the best actors at GMM TV. I was like, this is the best acting I have seen so far. And I've seen a lot. So, Crazy Town, right? Like, obviously, like Off Gun, they're very talented as well. I think that they're phenomenally great actors. These two, fantastic. They have not missed, basically. Like, even when they're in shitty dramas, Only Friends, they are the star and crowning jewel of the show. So I was fully going into this anticipating them to sweep me away because they've done heavier topics before. They're very talented in acting. And somehow, Stiles and Fadel fucking blew them out of the water for me. It's crazy.
ขอบคุณนะมึงที่ทำเพื่อกูขนาดเนี้ยกูยังไม่รักตัวเองเท่าที่มึงรักกูเลยมั้ง
They're also a couple I have been following. I believe the first drama they did was Star in Your Mind or whatever, which was a two-parter with another couple, whatever. They were really good in it. I loved it. Then they did Hidden Agenda that was also pretty light. A little bit more, had a little couple like dark moments, but it was again pretty fucking light. So I wasn't prepared for them to really eat down on these roles, and oh my god. I think Jung is the big one and then Dunk is the tiny one who likes to wear crop tops. Fadel and Stiles were so fucking good. There's no reason for them to be this good. They were the second couple. If we're being very honest, they're the second couple. I don't understand why they were this good.
กูว่ากูรักมึงแล้ววะ
It was very actually distracting from the first couple. They were so good. Fadel had this range of emotions that unlocked and was, when it unlocked, it became unhinged, like to not fall into him basically.
มึงออกไปจากชีวิตกูเถอะนะผมไม่โกรธมึงเลยไปใช้ชีวิตอย่างที่มึงอยากใช้มาฝากชีวิตของกูเลยนะ
He's always been the more serious one, and Dunk wasn't necessarily super playful, but he was like the less serious one a little bit. He was more of the studious or fictitious type, or you know what I mean? But in this, he was just a silly, goofy girl.
A member of the goofy community.
Girl. Mother of the House of Goofy.
Gorsh.
Not a soul can gorsh.
Not a soul can gorsh.
He was like, how will my dad know if I'm dead if I'm not in a crop top?
อย่างน้อยถ้ามึงจะฆ่ากูอ่ะขออยู่ในชุดเสื้อผ้าเท่ๆที่เป็นกูหน่อยได้ปะศพกูจะได้หล่อๆเวลาออกข่าวนะจะได้จำได้พบศพหนุ่มหล่อหน้าใสหน้าตาดีใส่เสื้อครอปพ่อกูจะได้จำได้ด้วย
Which fucking real I love that for you, that you're like,
They will only be able to identify my body by this cunty ass crop top that I'm wearing.
Which he had the cuntiest crop tops in history. I think I would go as far to say he had the best collection of cunty little crop tops because they were like just cropped enough to be like still a little masculine, but like, ooh, tummy time. You know what I mean? It was fantastic.
Let her cook. All this stuff I'm trying ish. Let me cook.
I'm not a shipper, especially in K-pop, because those are real people. I don't like to ship real people. However, I do acknowledge that there are ships that exist, and I do acknowledge that sometimes idols will feed into ships because it does help them, but also they're like just genuinely best friends with the other person, and that, my friends, is the ship of JeongCheol. That is, if you don't know, Junghan from 17 and S-Coups from 17. They're very much like besties. They ride or die for each other. They have a lot of couple things.
이거를 샀다. 이거 이 멍등은 이거 링거 때문에 멍든 거니까 그렇게 걱정하지 마요. 이걸 샀는데 이거를 같이 똑같은 걸 사달래 자꾸. 농담 아니면서 농담인 적 없어.
Junghan wears all of S-Coups' clothes, but to be fair, most of 17 wears S-Coups' clothes. Whenever S-Coups goes live, like Junghan will be there, and he's in the military, so I would believe he's busy. I am an S-Coups bias, right? Love that man. And I know he's not mine. He's not mine the same way Mingi from ATEEZ is not mine. He belongs to Yoonho, and S-Coups belongs to Junghan. Let's be very clear. But I will say that the way that their friendship is marketed and mirrored to the outside world is very similar into the relationship of Fadel and Stiles in this relationship. And I want to be clear, once they're together, I don't think that S-Coups was mentally torturing Junghan the way that Fadel is mentally torturing sometimes Stiles. And I don't think that Junghan is as annoying as Stiles was in this. Don't get me wrong, but once they're together, their dynamic reminds me very much of JeongCheol. Like there's the big beefy one who's always broody, but like will show emotion for that one person. And when they do show emotion, it's coveted in protectiveness and love and like, you know, care.
You ห็นแล้วใช่ไหมสไตล์อาการหลักกูจะพามึงไปตาย
And then there's the cunty one, the one who's just simply too cunty to exist and will make lots of jokes and will be the funny person.
รู้ว่าชีวิตกูอยู่ในกำมือมึงเอาเวลาที่มึงขู่กูไปนอนไหมมึงอยากไปไหนบอกกูมาเลยนะครับนักฆ่าที่รัก
But as soon as things get like serious and emotional, they really know how to care and cater to a person who hasn't been cared and catered to a lot.
In conclusion, JeongCheol and Fadel are both big-bodied, emotional rocks that tend to have breaking points and then start to cry sometimes, with a extreme protective streak and a hidden softness that they'd rather hide, but is so cute when it's shown. While Stiles and Junghan are more of the soft, sweet, cunty vibe that have very traditionally masculine hobbies like being a mechanic or being a beer-guzzling, pool-playing sporty guy. Either way, I see the parallels.
They gave me that vibe immediately and I was like, oh, I have a problem. But I loved them. I loved them so much. Their dynamic, it made sense. Fadel was so strong and stoic until he broke, and he broke because of the beauty and the love that Stiles had for him.
I also love that no matter how much bigger Fadel is than Stiles physically, he will always cuddle into Stiles and seek solace in him and just get wrapped up in him to find comfort as if he's his home.
So as a person who also uses humor to cope with almost anything, watching Stiles go through the journey of having to like not rely or like lean back on that humor to actually communicate with his partner was stunning to watch. I loved watching it.
เลิกเล่นดิเรื่องนี้มันสำคัญกับพวกกูสองคนนะเว้ย
กูไม่ได้เล่นชีวิตมึงเหมือนชีวิตกูเหมือนกันนะเว้ย
I knew I was too emotionally invested by the end of it after they got into that fight while they were in jail. And it turns out that he bought his burger joint back because he knew how much he loved it. It broke me. Stiles is truly a green flag.
แต่กูซื้อกลับมาให้มึงไง
มึงไม่ต้องทำแบบนี้ก็ได้
กูตั้งใจทำงานหาเงินอะซื้อร้านนี้กลับมาให้มึงเลยนะเว้ย
แต่ว่าช่วงที่มึงไม่ได้มาเยี่ยมกูมึงก็
Again, I love them. They were beautiful. They were my favorite part of this, and I really made this video because I wanted to talk about them, but I would be also remiss if I only raved about them, because while Bison and Kant aren't the darling children of my eyes right now because of the drama, like because I'm just so wrapped up in what Fadel and Stiles was doing, they were equally amazing. I had no doubt in my mind. Like, it's like watching Off Gun, like I said. Like, I know you're gonna eat whatever role. I know there'll be chemistry between you. I know whatever you do, you could sand down wood between this couple. That wood would turn into burst into flames because of the chemistry. They're so good at it. I would have loved a little bit more. I think a lot of it was lying in the issue of Kant not being able to be completely honest. Stiles, to an extent, can't be super honest, but to his knowledge, for most of the relationship that has started with, like, this flirtationship that started with Stiles was just because he was getting a car out of it. It wasn't high stakes necessarily. While Kant was like very high stakes. He could go back to jail for this relationship, if this relationship didn't go well, and you could feel more of that tension within their relationship, and that was on purpose. And I feel like a lot of people didn't get that was on purpose. But you can really see that was on purpose after everything was revealed, and like you really get into the nitty gritty and the lovey-dovey between all of these couples. I think that Stiles and Fadel had a leg up because they didn't have such a heavy burden on their relationship, but I do understand like the differences in how people see it. That being said, Bison and Kant, or the two people who play Bison and Kant, still ate down. They were still fantastic. They were still great. I loved Heart Killers. I think that it was so sweet. I think it was a perfect way to cap off my Valentine's Day. I finished the last episode literally right before I started recording. Episode 12 came out, and they lived happily ever after, which is all I really fucking wanted. I'm sorry if that ruined it for you, but I really wanted them to just live happily ever after. I would definitely love a special episode that dives more into like this relationship. I want a marriage proposal. I was promised one on both ends, and neither of you bitches gave me one. If I don't see, Tyler had just made that legal, so one of you motherfuckers better get married in a special. That's all I got to say, okay? Figure it out, GMMTV.
I also was very stressed the entire last couple episodes because of their escapades going on in the prison. I kept being scared that they were going to get caught and get more time or end up being in prison together. I knew realistically it wouldn't happen because it's GMMTV, but that stressed me out genuinely. Glad they got away with it though.
ไอ้สัตว์มึงจะเข้าไปทำอะไรวะ
เข้าไปหาแฟนครับ
พวกมึงบ้ากันไปแล้ว crazy in love จังวะ
Okay, hear me out. If Heart Killers was D&D, Kant would definitely be a tiefling warlock. He'd have a proficiency in thieves' tools, hello, and a +5 to charisma. Just because I think he's a little charming and good at lying. Bison, for sure, is a halfling gunslinger, but also he has a +5 to perception. We all saw his ability to clock things. Fadel, the brute that he is obviously a barbarian battle master. He probably carries some sort of great axe and +5 to insight immediately. He clocked everyone, but in a way that was very different from Bison, obviously. And my man Stiles, as crazy as it sounds, I need you to ride with me with this. He's an half-elf because, honestly, he's so dainty. It's beautiful. I could see him playing with ribbons in a field and living forever. But also a tinkerer. Duh, he's a mechanic. I know those two don't usually go together from what I know, but that's what I'm sticking to. And of course, he has a +10 to charisma because he is just so damn charming. If he could convince Fadel to fall in love with him, then I feel like he could convince anyone of anything.
Again, didn't have high hopes for this, I'm not gonna lie, because it's again GMMTV, and It's a lot more adult than GMMTV usually does. Like, they're not used to doing adult content, so I was pleasantly surprised. There are definitely places where I would have like fixed certain personality traits. I would have loved to have more time with Kant and Bison without the looming threat of the police over them. That they played off of each other well, and they all really fit the bill of like, there's a lid for every pot, baby. There's a lid for every pot. If you're lonely this Valentine's Day, there's a lid for every pot, okay? For every Fadel, there's a Stiles. For every Bison, there's a Kant. And stop using whips and chains. No more BDSM shit in BLs unless you're gonna be serious about it. I actually, in TV in general, I'm actually done with it. Unless you're gonna give me love and leashes, I don't wanna see any more BS BDSM. I'm over it, I'm done, we're good. I am going to give it a Crown and Coke. One of the reasons why I wanna give it a Crown and Coke, because obviously it was one of my favorites, so give it the Crown. And honestly, I should have been high for it, so give it the Coke. I love a Crown Apple and Diet Coke, and that's my favorite drink. And this is a little bit less than my favorite, but still I love it, so give it a Crown and a Coke. If GMMTV sees this, call me, I have notes. You have some very, very talented actors on your roster right now, so do not fuck this up, okay? They have a new drama coming out, I believe, and I'm super excited about it.
ไม่ใช่เรื่องฉลาดเลยเนี่ย ผมก็ไม่มั่นใจนะพี่
I believe that Kant and Bison, the actors, have a drama coming out. With all that being said, it's a fun watch. Don't worry, I'll be back, internet friends. Happy Valentine's Day, even though it's not Valentine's Day when you're watching this. Stay tuned.